Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we're going to take a look at the new upgraded Meiliang set of watercolors. This is a set of 52. You know that I love the Meiliang watercolors. I have the 36 half pan set I reviewed back in like 2016 or 2017. This has been my student grade paint to beat. And then last year, or maybe the year before, they came out with a set where they had put the paints into their own half pans instead of just into the kind of ice cube tray type style package, and that was great. As you can see, I've used some of these way down. I use this in my 30 Days to Better Painting watercolor version class, and it worked out perfectly. Because I wanted to make sure the quality was still good. I did a side-by-side comparison of the old versus the new style. Quality was the same. There was two colors, I think, that the tone was just slightly different, but yep, still great paint. And now they have come out with an upgraded version of the 52 set. So the old 52 set, well, okay, I've got two versions here because they sent me one of each color, and I'm going to show you how they came. They came in that same ice cube tray style palette, and it came with some watercolor paper, a swatch card, and a brochure with a printed swatch card. Number 6 round brush, a pencil, and a fine liner, and a sponge. And this can come out so you have mixing space. And actually you can take that bottom tray out too if you want to. And when I got this, since he sent me two, I thought, you know, there's too many colors here for me to want to work out of this palette. It just would be way too confusing for me. So what I did, and I have a video on this set that you can find if you like on my channel. I'll link everything down below, all the Meiliang related content. So what I did was I took them all out of the plastic, which was an ordeal, I've got to tell you. I popped them all out and I put magnets on the bottom because these are aluminum pans. They won't stick to a magnet on their own. So I put little magnet stickers on the bottom. I put a swatch on the side of each of the pans. They're slightly smaller than a half pan, and that way I could kind of take out just the colors that I wanted to. Like if I was working on a project, I could take this out, or I could work on another metal tray. I would just bring up the colors that I was using for a particular project, and then I would not get confused with all the other colors. 9 colors are missing out of this right now because they are in a travel palette that I didn't like the paint that came with it, and I do like this paint, so I replaced it. But there's a lot of pastels here. There's only 2 metallics. I don't have the set of 48 Meiliang paints because the set of 48 is the 36 set plus 12 metallics, and I have the Paul Rubens metallics, and I'm really happy with those. I really didn't see the need to get those. So now that you see what has preceded this set, we will see how they differ. In this video, I have no idea how long this is going to be. I know it's going to take me a bit of time to organize everything, but I have done a little bit of prep work because I was just getting way too confused with all the colors and everything. So let's take a look at the new upgraded set. Now this, you will still find the old sets on Amazon, at least at the time I'm filming this, and they're clearancing the old sets, and they've been on sale for around like $25. So if you do like the old set, you like the pastels, then, you know, and you don't mind that format, then you can go ahead and grab that if you prefer and save some money. But the new way they have it, you still get the printed brochure, except the colors in this new set are different. And if I compare, I'm really afraid of getting the colors confused here. But this is the old. I'm just going to write old set on there just so that I don't get confused. But even just looking at the printed swatch, you can see right off the bat that the old set had a lot of pastels, and the new set has more of your vibrant, true colors, which I am very happy about. And also, if you look at the new printed swatch, you're going to see that there are more single pigment colors than in the older 52 style. So right there, I think that is a major upgrade. One thing I've noticed, and this is on the old set as well, is that they have the same number. Actually, you know what? Maybe that's just on the half pans, because on the half pans, they have 337 as coal black, which they do here, but they also have Payne's gray. Wait a minute, no, ivory black 322, and then they have Payne's gray at 322. Yep, they have it on the printed swatch too. They have the same number for that. So that's a little That's too bad, you know, because that could be confusing. But I'm liking this color swatch much better than this one here, because you can always make a pastel, but you can't bring a pastel back to its true colors. So you've got more pure colors here, which I think is really wonderful. Assuming all the pigment information is good, but there is pigment information, so that's great. That's something that they brought out with the older 52 set as well. So this is going to take a little bit of time, but something before I go and unwrap all of these and we do our swatches is I wanted to show you the differences here on the set here. I put a little dot on all the colors that are no longer in this set, so you can see it's all these pastels. I just went through again before I came on the video to make sure that I had it right, and it seems to be they're pulling out the pastels and giving you more of the true colors. Now, so I thought that maybe it's got all the colors from the 36 set. So I was trying to go through the 36 set on camera and compare, but boy, I couldn't. I'm seeing if I've got a painted 36 swatch, because I tend to make my own swatches. I think I might have made that mark to compare between the 52 set. I don't remember now, but they do not have all the colors from the 32 set in the in this new 52 set. So it'll be interesting to compare our swatch of this versus the swatch from the original 36 set. See, I'm getting confused already, and we're only 6 minutes in. So, the paper was decent on this. I used all the paper up from my first set, and it's a cellulose paper, I believe. It's fine. It's nothing too exciting. But I'm going to make a swatch card for this, because that's a lot of paint. That's a lot of paint to keep track of. It does seem like it's in a pretty good color family order, so I'll leave it in that order. The last one, I did not like the order that it came in. It was very, everything was just kind of like jumbled up. It didn't really have much rhyme or reason, so that's why I gutted my set and kind of rearranged it with magnets so I could put it in the way that I wanted it. They still have this little plastic thing to keep your paints from getting stuck to the stuff on the top. I'm not in love with that. In fact, I've got to say, if I have to have one qualm with these sets, is I don't like this style of box. And I've seen a lot of sets coming out with this lately. The Samy Art sets have been in these boxes. I don't like the Samy Art paints either. But these have, or at least the ones that I've tried, those kind of really thirsty, chalky paints. But I don't like that. I much prefer like the old sets here where like it snaps down, right? Without a latch. For me, that's much better. This is half the thickness too. So that's another reason why I might say, stick to the 36 set. It's cheaper and it's, this is the same footprint this way, but it's half of the thickness, which is more handy for travel, in my opinion. But obviously, we're all different. We all like different things, so I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're an adult. You've got to live your life. So this also has a change where that was in kind of just a plastic ice cube tray style format. This is these are half pans, full half pans. Those are less than a half pan, so you're getting more paint. You're getting better colors, in my opinion. I haven't swatched them yet, but just what I see so far. But you've also got this tray here, and I'm a little concerned that it's going to be difficult to get these back in the tray. They're all in there now, so I know there's a trick to putting these in and out of the tray, but I don't remember what the trick is. That when the rep from Paul Rubens asked if I wanted to review this, she was saying that there's a trick to getting these back in, and you got to go in a certain way. And I'm thinking that I have to take everything out and then put them in starting with the middle 2 rows is what I'm thinking. So I got a big piece of watercolor paper here, and I am just going to be very careful not to lose track of what colors are here because I'm not labeling the pans. That's not something I'm going to do. And what I'm going to do is lay down some double-sided tape, and as I unwrap these, I'm going to stick the wrappers onto the tape, and then I'll put a black marker line underneath, and that way I'll have a nice things where I can test the transparency and see if they're the same Meiliang paints that we all know and love, right? That's what we're hoping for. We're hoping for the tried and true to stay true. And hopefully this is a big enough piece of paper because it's like 12 inches by 16 inches, I think. So, well, let's loosen up these little things. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop the camera in a second because I'm just going to take my labels off. There is pigment information. This is like white is a mixture of PW5 and PW6. And look at that. It gives you the information. It gives you in Chinese with some English. And then here it's got English. It says color carrier, gum or Arabic gum, color PW5, PW6, light resilience 5 stars, and transparency half coverage. So what I'm going to do, this is riveting footage here. I'm just going to trim off the non-info and I'm going to stick this down. And I don't imagine you want to watch that. So let me at least get a row down here and get myself somewhat organized. And I will see you back in a moment. Okay, this is a 12 by 16 piece of paper and it fit the labels pretty much perfectly. I just trimmed off the extra stuff at the end and that worked out pretty well. I somehow didn't trim off enough on each of the wrappers and I'm hanging off a little bit on the edge there, but that's alright. I'll be able to fold that to the back of the swatch. So here I have the empty pans and I put the tray and I put all the pans in the order here. So let's see if we can get them back in without too much hassle. And I don't know, where should I begin on this bottom one maybe? Or let's see, I want to press the little fingery things in a little bit so that when I do push the pans in, they snap into place and they don't wiggle around, although I don't think there's going to be too much room to wiggle here, to be honest. But let's just bend them all in a little bit. If you ever have loose watercolors, like the pans are like sliding around in your metal tin, it's because you need to pull the prongs in and then what you want to do is snap them in place. So, pull the paper out of there. Let's start with this one. So you put it up against the rail, kind of like in like that, and then you just pop it in and it kind of snaps. So I think I'm going to start bottom to top. These, I did have a couple of the colors want to stick to the wrapper, so you might want to pop the palette in the freezer for a little bit, or any colors that you come to, because they will warm up as you're using them. If you get any colors with hard to remove labels, you might want to just pop those colors in the freezer and then for a few minutes, and then hopefully they'll be a little bit easier to remove. I wanted to get these back in before I started to swatch them because I didn't want to try to put wet sticky paint back in here, because these feel like they might be a little bit on the sticky side. They're definitely not chalky if they're anything like the other Paul Rubens Meiliang paints. They do a great paint, I've got to say. I'm very excited about these, especially since they got rid of the pastels. So I just want to make sure I don't lose the order here. And I'm glad I thought to put them just back in the tin. Oh gosh. Yeah, there's actually not a lot of wiggle room anyway, so you might not even need to really bend them in that much, because they barely fit in there between the rails. Especially the second row here. That one is the sticky one. So I'm going to try to remember to swatch the card that came with it that has the pigment information and this big swatch while I do it. And I may eventually make a smaller swatch to live in the tin. I like to do that in the exact arrangement, because when on their order, it's like it reads the wrong way. You know, the number, like white is there, white should be there. But if I turn it like this way, then it's upside down. That's always the way with their swatches, it seems like, with the Paul Rubens swatches, but it's no big deal, really. I'm going to push those side tins in. This isn't as bad. I was under the impression that this was going to be really difficult to get these back in. Maybe just because I had the warning. It wasn't too bad, but generally, if a new set comes out, a new set of watercolors comes out, usually somebody from Paul Rubens will ask me if I'd like to try them out. And it's nice when I get them before they get released, because I can have a review ready to go before people are curious about them, and people can really get to see what they're all about before they spend their hard-earned money. I know it saves some people some regretted purchases, and It allows people to get them while they're still in stock too, which is nice. Oh no. Whoops. I just popped this out. Well, you know, here's something. If you decide you don't like dealing with this and you'd rather put magnets on the back, you can pull this out fairly easily, it seems. Oh, it popped back in easy enough, so that's good. They snap right in and out, I guess, because now that's secure enough. But, okay, that's easy enough to pop out if you wanted to. I've got a couple jars of water. I think I'll use the brush that came with it to do the swatching. Why not? We'll get a 2-for-1. A 2-for-1 review. So they're not sticky right out of the, other than a couple colors sticking to the wrapper, they're not sticking to my fingers as I'm trying to put them in. I will add a drop of water on the white and on the gold and silver, but other than that, I'm not pre-activating. I generally don't pre-activate colors just because I feel like that's not really that fair of a option, but white always seems to need it. In fact, where the white is, I'm going to put a bigger block of black there, so we'll really be able to see how opaque it is. And I think I'll do the same with my gold and silver. So we can see it on the white paper and on the black mark here. And I think the gold and silver, if they're like the ones, and they kind of look at here, kind of glittery, so I think that'll be a good one for mixing with your color to give them a little bit of a shimmer to it. So if you want to make your own shimmer colors, which I think is good, so you can add your gold to like your warm tones or greens, and you can add your silver to your cool tones or pinks. I'll wash the sizing out of the brush. I like this brush. It's short-handled, but isn't, I don't know, I like the last one, the brush that came in the last one. So I'm going to move some stuff out of the way, and we're going to get to swatching. I've been such a mess to pick up here. I don't know why I thought I needed to bring out all my other Paul Rubens things so we could have a jaunt through the history of Paul Rubens, but apparently I felt that was important to do. It's going to be tough to beat the 36 set. I'll be really curious. I think, I'm not exactly sure what this is going for. I'm thinking the other one was around $35 or $40 for the 52 set, so I'm assuming it's probably going to be somewhere in that ballpark. Maybe more because they have the extra expense of having the half pans, and the pans are larger rather than the under half pan size they had before, but you know, we'll see. All right, our first color is lemon yellow, because I'm going to skip, I'll come back to the white after it's had a chance to sit. Lemon yellow, it is PW3, so just our typical Hansi yellow light. Very lovely. I think I'll add a little bit more over the stripe and towards the top. Actually, I could pre-wet an area to get a little bit of a gradient here. I'll start doing that. Oh shoot! I put my lemon yellow right there. Then we've got New Gamboge. That's a really great color. It's a nice warm yellow, but not too orangey. And I'll put it right there. It's a little bit more opaque. Oh, and it tells you, this one's called semi-transparent. The previous one said full coverage, which I don't know what they mean. Because it's not opaque, so I don't know what they mean by full coverage. I don't think it really matters that much. I find these colors do tend to flood and fill. Plenty. I like to have big swatches too. I like to really see the color. They're liquefying just fine. Like maybe I want a little bit more. That was the fourth one. Was that the fourth? Yeah, the third yellow, the fourth one in. That's what I put there, right? Yeah. This one's cadmium. Oh shoot. Oh my gosh. See, 52 colors is confusing. I'm confused on my fourth color here. Cadmium yellow medium, that's PY65. I wish they printed out the pigment information on the chart here. Next color is permanent dark yellow, PY63. Right, the other one was 65, this one's 63. 83, PY83, good grief. I'm not sure if they have the pigment information on their, on the Amazon listing or not. Ooh, that's a lovely color. Nice and transparent. What are they rating it? They're rating it semi-transparent? Huh. I would call that all the way transparent, personally. Put a little more in there. Next color is 150 Nickel Yellow. Oh, this is a really pretty color here. It's kind of like a nickel azo yellow. PY1, oh, this is PY51, but I think they mean PY151. I think it's a typo. As someone mentioned on a recent video, it wouldn't be Paul Rubens without some typos. And all I can say to that is true, but also the folks that make these charts speak English way better than I speak Chinese, so I'm not going to be judging. It's nice. I believe this paper, the swatch card, is cotton. So I put little dots on the colors that are new to this set that aren't in the other 52 set. Cadmium Yellow Medium is in this set but not in the 52, and Nickel Yellow's in this set but not in the other 52. So those were new additions. They've taken out the pastels. The next color we have is Orange 268. That's PY, sorry for my head there, PY3 plus PO13. That's not, PO13 is not a very light fast color. It's usually in cosmetics and food, but you see it a lot in budget paints. Oh, you know what? They've got the Lightfast rating in here. They're giving that a 3, but it looks like, are they giving it a 3? I'm so sorry for my head there. Yeah, I guess they're giving it a 3. The printing on the labels is really small. The next color is Permanent Orange. It's got a 4-star rating. The pigment is PO62. Very similar color. I don't think you necessarily need both of them, but if you like orange and you run out of one, well, they got you covered. I don't think they're different enough to really need both of them, but you don't need 52 colors. Let's just be honest there. The next color is Permanent Orange Red. PO73. Oh, that's a lovely color. That's really nice. That was this one right here. That's also a new color to this set. Wasn't in the other 52 set. There was several peaches in the other 52 set that were very similar. So I'm glad that they are doing this and going with a little bit more strong colors. This is Light Cadmium Red. This is another one that's in this set and wasn't in the old set. This is PO73 and PR112. And I'm just going to have to stick my head in there to read those. I'm sorry. I guess, I wonder if this is in the same... Yeah, you know what? Actually, I can put this right over here and then I'll have to stick my head in, hopefully. The next color is Vermilion. And that is PR4, which is not a light fast color. They're giving it a 3-star rating. It seems like it's on a 3 to 5-star scale here. When you're looking at your PR colors, anything in the single digits is generally a bad sign. I don't know why, but those tend to be not very light fast. Then we have Scarlet, which is PR48 and PR207. I believe those are like naphthol red pigments. You don't see those two colors very often. They're giving it a 3. It's pretty though. Yeah, that does look like a naphthol red. They're giving it a 3-star of light fastness. It's beautiful, but naphthol red is one that's gorgeous but not super light fast. And watercolors have a rougher time with light fastness because of the how thin you dilute it and how it doesn't have a very protective binder. Chinese Red is new to this set. Wasn't in the other 52 set. Very pretty. That's got a 4-star of light fastness and uses the pigment PR112. PR112. Why am I thinking Magenta is PR? No, Magenta's PR122. I was confused. Hard to believe. Alright, I'm going to set this up there. Our next row, we're going to start off with Permanent Red. Ooh, that's pretty. PR 170. These colors are just as lovely as far as I'm concerned. Oh, you know what? We could actually swatch that white while we're at it, because that's been liquefying. I might have put a little too much water in there. But we'll let that dry down. That had quite a bit of water. I'll probably have to go in with a less juicy swatch. The next color is Carmine, PR 176. PR 176. Why am I thinking that that might be Perylene Scarlet? But that's awfully vibrant. And they've got that a 4-star light fastness. The Permanent Red, they only had a 3-star light fastness. Is there a Lightfast key here that tells you what's what? Just going by the earth tones being 5-star and some of the violets being, let's see, I know PV3 is not a really, violets too, those lower numbers are not the best. They have that as a 3-star. That's their lowest rating that they have. So that'd be interesting. I should look at the light fastness on the old set, because pastels are generally not very light fast. Seems like their lowest light fast on the old style they had marked as a 3. That's surprising. That's surprising with like a light with a light purple, but they did use PV23 in their purple, so that's a pretty good color. So that might be why they didn't have like a PV3. Anyway, Purple Red is our next color. Sorry to get in the weeds there. That's a lovely color. That is a mixture of a PR 112 and PR 177. So that's like a madder red and a PR 112. A Chinese red, a bright neutral red. It kind of looks like a alizarin crimson. Did I not use that one? Oops, I gotta put the swatch here. It looks very much like an alizarin crimson or a madder red. The next color is Quinacridone Rose, PV19. A very stable color. They're giving it a light fastness rating of 4. That sounds about right. I don't think this is blue wool scale, because some of these would definitely be 8s if it was blue wool scale. I think it's just their 1 to 5 rating system that they use. Next color is Purple Lake, which is probably also PV19. Yep, PV19. A very beautiful mauve color. Now, I've noticed something with this brand. They tend to change names. Sometimes in the same set, you'll get the number on the swatch card and it will be different. It'll be the same number as what's on the half pan, but the name will be different. So I think they might call that mauve in like the 36 set. I can't remember, but it seems like, and that's a new one to this set, and so was Purple Red. Those are both the new ones to this set from the old 52 set. But I do think that's in the 36 set, because that looks very familiar. Number 313, Violet. That's also PV19. And it's very similar looking. Again, it's one of those, I don't think you need both, but it is kind of a nice color, so I almost feel like they could have kept some pastels and kept some and put in some of the new colors, because that's a new to this set color from the old 52 set. Because like, I mean, those two are very similar, same pigment, just slightly shifted, not very different at all. Magenta 213, and that's PR 122. That's a really nice primary color. Although this one's leaning a little bit more towards purple than what I typically see in a magenta. It's pretty though. Then we have Bright Purple. And that magenta has 4 stars. And the violet, all those PV19 colors had 4 stars as well. Bright purple. This one looks like it's got some dye in it because it's like the wrapper was stained. I wonder if this is the PV3 one, because that's very... Yeah, PV3. This is Fugitive. What are they giving it? They're giving it a 3-star rating. That might be a little generous. That's one you tend to see in budget brands. The next color, Deep Purple, which is a mixture of PV3 and PV29. And PB29. PV3 and PB29, so an ultramarine blue and that violet we just had, so definitely a convenience color. And what would happen if this faded was you'd be left with like an ultramarine blue color. So, I mean, I like that they have all this information here, because then if you want to go through and pull some colors and say, I don't want to risk using that in my art, but I'm going to put in some other colors, because the pretty excellent paints are pretty decent, to be honest. I mean, I feel like they perform like a professional paint. You're not going to get as many exciting colors because of the cost of some of those exciting colors, but it performs really well. And if you want to get like a set for travel or a more budget-friendly set for playing around with or in your sketchbook, I don't think you're really going to want for much. Now, this is called Violet Oxide. It is PV23, which is your dioxazine violet color. I'm surprised that's not, that seems a little bit pinky to me, but yeah. No, I guess that's about right for a dioxazine violet. I've had stronger dioxazine violets. Usually dioxazine violets is so strong that it's almost black. So there might be some filler in there. I don't mind, because violet, that color is usually a little bit hard to deal with because it's so strong. The next color is Cobalt Blue, which is, let's see, have they given us a hue? That is, yeah, that's PB29, which is ultramarine, PB15, which is phthalo blue, and PW5, which is a white pigment. Not my favorite, but, you know, it does approximate cobalt blue pretty well. I used to use cobalt blue a lot, but then I discovered ultramarine, and I prefer ultramarine even to a general, a real cobalt blue. Unless it's like cobalt blue deep, I like that equally as well as ultramarine. This is ultramarine, Speak of the Devil. Oh, that's a gorgeous one. Very, very pretty reddish ultramarine. And PB29, just what we'd expect. It's got a 5-star light fastness rating, just what I'd expect. I probably use that color more than any other color, so I'm happy that it's a good one. The next color we have is Manganese Blue Nova. Oh, what is that made out of? Because it's not manganese blue, I'm sure. PB15, so it's probably going to look a little bit more like a phthalo blue, but we shall see. But it says PB15, not PB15:3. Oh, that's got a pretty tone to it. Maybe a little bit more muted than the really, really bright PB15:3. I don't know. That's alright. Good cool blue for mixing. I'm not mad at it. 5-star light fastness rating. Oh no, 4-star light fastness rating. Your quinacridones and your phthalos do tend to be 4-star. I'm not sure why. They're pretty sturdy, pretty stable and robust colors. The next color we have, we're starting the next row, that would be Sky Blue. And that is a mixture of PB17 and PW5. You got a nice, I don't know, it's like a phthalo blue. It looks like a phthalo blue to me. But it's almost like a peacock blue. PB17 is generally a little bit greener. It's often called peacock blue, sometimes marine blue. The next color is Prussian Blue, PB38. And that is a typical PB27 Prussian Blue. That's what we would expect with that color. This might be a little too watery. I got a drop of water in there by accident, and I have a drop of water on my swatch. So if it seems a little light, that's why. That's a lovely color. And they're giving it 4-star light fastness rating. Prussian Blue can darken in sunlight, but that does recharge when it is put in the dark for a while. That's a pretty color. I like Prussian Blue. I learned on Prussian Blue. I have a fondness for it. The next color is Indigo, which is a mixture of PBK7 and PB29, so black and ultramarine. That's a lovely indigo. It looks like your denim jeans. And that's a 4-star light fastness rating. Huh. This is like PB20. That does not look like PB29. It looks more like Prussian blue than ultramarine to me. Maybe it's a typo. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Our next color is Payne's Gray, and this is one color that's labeled 322, and the Ivory Black is also labeled 322, so you have to be careful on that one. This is a mixture of ultramarine blue and black, which does look a little bit more like ultramarine blue and black. That one looks like Prussian blue and black, so I reckon there's a little bit of a typo there, maybe. You know, because those have the exact same pigment numbers. And you can see the shift of that color looks, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it does look more different. That looks more purpley, that looks more greeny, undertoned. The next color is Sea Blue, and that is in this palette, but not in the other 52 palette. Sea Blue is a mixture of PB17 and PG7, and that's the 5th one over here. Ooh, that's beautiful, isn't it? That looks like a color also called like peacock green. It's a very lovely turquoise color. PB17 and PG7. And we'll do a little swatch of that here. Okay, I'm going to move that over there. I'm trying not to cover up. Oh, I can. Chair made a weird sound. Okay, next color we have is Light Turquoise. That's PG7 and PB15, and I reckon it's got some white in there because those two colors would be very transparent together and they wouldn't show up in the pan quite so brightly. And it's definitely got some white. That's one of the few pastels that are in this set. And this is actually new to this set. It wasn't in the other one. And I'll just show you what I mean about being light in the pan. Can you see that? How light it is. It's obviously got a white in it, but they don't need to, it might be PW4, they don't have to disclose that pigment. The next color is Deep Cobalt Turquoise. It is it's a hue. It is PB15 and PG7, and I think it's probably got some white in it or something because it is quite, it's quite opaque. Probably just trying to mimic like a cobalt turquoise or a cobalt teal or a cobalt green. Our next color is Light Cobalt Turquoise, and that's PB15 and PG7, so it's the same mixture, but it's got more blue and less green. We'll see if there's a difference. And it looks like it's got more white in it, to be honest. It's never going to give you that granulation that a true cobalt turquoise would give you, but it does approximate the color pretty well. There might be a little bit of flocculation in there from whatever white they used. I don't know. Just don't get your hopes up. It's a pretty color. Just, you know, temper your expectations. Actually, that looks darker on the paper, but it looks lighter in the pan. Isn't that strange? Anyway, the next color, I just dropped some water there, is Yellow Green, and that is PY3 and PG7. It's got a 4-star light fastness. Those previous turquoises had a 3-star light fastness. I think because of the PB17, that is a, and the PB15 have, oh, actually that one, the light turquoise has a higher light fastness rating. That's weird, probably because of the PG7, but PB15, PB17, those are types of phthalo blues, but they're not as light fast, and they're a little bit greener. I'm not sure why they're not as light fast as the other ones, but so this one has a 4-star light fastness, PY3 and PG7 for Yellow Green. That's like a May green. That's really pretty. Next color is Lime Green, PG36, which is a phthalo green yellow shade, and PY3. That's a pretty color too. 4 stars light fastness as well on this one. It's yeah, it's like fresher. It's a little fresher, a little greenier than the yellow green. Pretty. It's a pretty color. Next color is Permanent Green, and this is PG7 and PY3. And it looks in the pan, it looks like it's got some white in it, just because how light it is. Ooh, that is not a color I would use very often, but it does look like Permanent Green. Just not, oops. Yeah, I had the right one. It's just not a color I particularly enjoy myself. It looks like kind of crayon green, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just, actually it looks very transparent for looking like it has white in the pan. And that is 4 star light fastness. The next color is Deep Emerald. It's PG7 and it's got 4 stars of light fastness and it looks black in the pan. So that's a good sign. Oh yeah, and this is sometimes called Viridian Hue. This is a great one for mixing yellows. It's a great mixer, actually. On its own, it's kind of a little harsh, but you mix that with one of these orangey yellows and you get a beautiful sap green that's just luminous. Oops, I forgot to put that on my little swatch. And that's 4 stars light fastness. I can't remember if I said that or not. Deep Emerald. The next color is Dark Hooker's Green, and that's a mix of PG7, which is Phthalo Green, PY3, which is Hansa Yellow Light, and PR101, which is a like a burnt sienna or like a Indian red or English red. It's an iron oxide, a reddish iron oxide color. Hooker's Green is not, I used to use that color a lot, but I don't. To me it seems kind of flat. But that might be able to be perked up with a little yellow, but you're already looking at 3 colors already, and the more pigments in a mix, generally the more dull a color will look. I didn't intend to swatch all these on camera, but, you know. It happens. Next color is Olive Green. I hope this is a nice one, because they don't have Tree Green in the set, and I love Tree Green, which is like their version of Sap Green. You just have to mix it. It's not a big deal, but it's such a beautiful color in the Paul Rubens and the Meiliang line. And this is 4 stars of light fastness. The mix is PB15. Oh, that's strange. PY83 and PVK9. And that's got a 4 star light fastness rating for some reason. I would almost think the blue might fade out of that a little bit earlier, but I don't know. I don't know what to think about that light fastness rating. Why don't we have Tree Green, Paul Rubens? I do think they watch these reviews and make changes, because I'm pretty sure I said that I thought the pastels were a bit much and the color selection wasn't as good as the 36 set on the last one, and they came out with this. And they've done that a few times with different sets. They've changed their colors because of artists' recommendations. That's Phthalo Green Blue. That's PG7. Now this is also PG7. They're both very similar. That one's just got a little bit more of a bluer shift to it, but they're both very similar. They probably just treated that pigment a little bit differently, or they got a different version of that particular pigment and went with that. I don't know. Maybe there's more filler in that one to make it less strong. I don't know. This next color is new to this set. Oh, this is pretty. This is Bright Hooker's Green. PG7, PY83, and PR101. So, is it... Oh, you know what? The other Hooker's Green... Is that the same... Okay, this is PY83 instead of PY3. This is beautiful. I will use that color. And it's really strong. That one's, like I said, new to this color. It's got a 4 star light fastness. And look how dark it is. It almost looks black. There doesn't seem to be any filler in that one. And I'm not really seeing a lot of light residue on the pans, which you do sometimes see with cheaper paints with optical brighteners, which is a good sign. So I think they're keeping the quality high on these paints, and I'm really glad. The next color is Natural Yellow. Looks like a yellow ochre, PY42. Got a little opacity there, not too much, but you know what you'd expect with PY42. Very beautiful color. It's another one like ultramarine blue. It's in every painting just about. The next color is light brown, which weirdly enough, they called this dark brown in the previous one, I think. Let's see, 594. They called it dark brown. They call it light brown here. Let's see if it's the same color. Let's see right here. That looks like the same color to me, and I believe it. I do like the new naming of light brown because it does seem much more light brown than dark brown to me. I was curious about that. I made a note of it in my brain, in my mind palace, and I luckily remembered it, which is super shocking because the mind palace is a little cluttered these days and needs a good sweeping and a good clean out. All right, and that should have a 5-star, I would think. Yep, it's got a 5-star light fastness rating. When you get to be familiar with pigments, you'll kind of get an idea of what you think. You'll kind of know what colors are probably more light fast than others. Oh, we've got fired gold ochre here. This is, it was in the other set of 52 as well. This is a benzimidone brown, which is a gorgeous transparent reddish brown color. You don't see very often. PBR 25. It's almost like a maroon, but not quite. It's a beautiful, almost like maybe mahogany red color, and that's got a 4-star light fastness. The next color is Indian Red, PR 101, just what we would expect for an Indian Red. And the name for this comes from the mine, like where the mine is, where they source the materials. I know some people have thought that the term Indian Red is a slur, and it's not. It's where the mine from India, where the paints come from. There's English Red, which is very similar from a mine in England where they got that that color. So I just wanted to put that out there in case anyone has felt a little, heard that name and wondered. That's the provenance of that word. And then we have Burnt Umber, PBR 7. That's what I would expect. Oh, this, I dropped a bit of paint, like a bit of water on there, so that color came out very thick. That is a 5-star light fastness color. Very nice. I'm really impressed with these. I'll do a glaze and I'll do a lift off camera because, I mean, that'll be very boring. Maybe I won't actually. I mean, we've used these so many times. This next color, Sepia 596, is, what's that pigment? PBR 7 again. And I think they called it something else in one of the other, maybe they call it, they call it, in the old 52 set, they were calling this raw umber. But it's definitely darker. It's definitely more of a sepia. It is the same color that they used before, but this is sepia is more of a, or sepia, tomato. It is more of what you would think of for that color. Raw umber is generally a little bit weaker. The next color is Ivory Black 322. Remember, it's got the same number as Payne's Gray for some crazy reason. But it is a different color. It's warmer. It's not super strong. PBK 9. I'm making sure I don't lose track of where I am right here, right? Did I grab the right color? Okay, phew. Yeah, kind of a weak syrupy color. I don't use Made Blacks except for Mars Black, so I like the texture of it in general, so I really can't offer much a comparison with that. It does have a 5-star light fastness rating, which is pretty common. It's transparent. Ivory Black is made from burnt bones. Coal Black is made from, you guessed it, coal. It's also called lamp black sometimes. And it's byproduct of fossil fuels. PBK 7, and it is more opaque, more true, cooler black. And your blacks are generally going to be very light fast. These are both 5-star light fast. Okay, now we're going to get into our metallics, and I'm going to stir up this gold, which did, ooh, look at that. That reactivated really well. It's got a nice glittery flash effect to it, so it'll be a nice mixer. It does reflect, but it is transparent as well. You can see through it, so this would be a nice one to use as a mixer. We'll try the silver. And again, it's a very glittery silver rather than a mica-y opaque pearl. It's more of a glitter than a pearl, I guess I should say, which makes it nice for mixing. So I think that's probably why they included these. So you can mix them with the other colors that are very transparent and get a nice glittery color. So I'm just going to, I didn't put a black mark on my palette, but that's all right. Very, very pretty colors. There you can see it on the cotton swatch card that was included. They're keeping their quality up as far as I can tell. Now looking at the white swatch, it's still wet. It is quite chalky and granular. That might be the PW5. I'm not sure, or the PW6. I'm not really that familiar. I don't think it's a very opaque white though. It says half coverage. So it's going to be more of like a mixing white to get, so if you miss those pastels that were in the other set, you could mix them up easily and still have that viscosity and sheerness, the same amount of sheerness. But there's the comparison. This is the new 52 set. This is the old 52 set. You know, I don't think I'm going to do glazes on that. I think we get enough information just from this. You can see what's different. The quality is as good as the 36 set. The quality, I prefer these colors to the old 52 set just because I don't really have much use for all those pastels. And let's just compare it also against the 36 set in case you were debating between those. Ooh, hopefully I can find. I've got so many swatches. I've got so many swatches here. Right here. So this is the original 36 set. I feel like the color family is a little bit more aligned with the 36 set. They're not all the same colors and not all in there, but you can see you do get a nice range of those colors. And aside from them not having the tree green, which is that one right there in the corner, that olive green is lovely. That's the old olive green. I still miss that tree green. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you'd go wrong necessarily getting the 52 set over the 36 set. The 36 set doesn't waste a color, I don't think, and I do feel like there's a few samey colors here, but they tend to be more popular ones, so you probably will get through them. Anyway, there you have it. I think I'm just going to leave it here. It's obvious the paint hasn't changed. If you want a more in-depth review of the pretty excellent paints, I will link the other ones that I've done in the past, and you can get more information. But for this, I think this is definitely enough information on these paints, and I recommend them. I like this. I like these much better than the old 52 set. I will say that. I think you can put the little plastic shield that goes in there, which I've misplaced already because I need to clean this up, but I'll just take this one to show you. You could set that in there, and then the brush is really nice that comes in here. That's what we used for our swatches. And keep it like that, or I think honestly I would pop this out because that's just going to be a pain. I don't know. You can do what you want to do, but there's your mixing areas. And honestly, if I had my druthers, what I would say is, Paul Rubens, maybe put this in a bigger tin and a thinner tin, but wider but thinner, and that doesn't have this latch that is like the old 36 set, or maybe like the 48 set. I don't know. Because you could definitely fit this in the 48 set and still have a room to throw your pen and your pencil and your brush, I think. But anyway, those are nitpicks. Those are nitpicks. I'm gonna leave this open to dry, but I'm impressed with this. I am glad I took the time to swatch it out. I think that I don't see any haziness or chalkiness or flocculation or grittiness anywhere, except on that white, that pan of white, which, I mean, it's white. What do you expect? I could almost be like, just take it out and put something else in there if you want to. But it's kind of a handy mixer if you want to have something with a little bit more opacity and you want to get a pastel, like you're painting some macarons or some cupcakes and you want that chalkier texture. But yeah, I mean, they're not going to be the most exotic pigments. They're a budget set, but they do a really good job. And as far as student grade paint goes, you're getting the feel of painting with professional paint at a student grade price, and I can't say anything against that. 5 out of 5 stars. Thanks so much for watching. Like I said, if you've got questions on this line of paint, you want to go deeper into the weeds, I'm going to link all of the past reviews I've done on their paints, on the Meiliang, pretty excellent paints, including the tube paints. And I'll also put the Show My paints in there too, because they have tubes, and I like their tubes better than the Meiliang tubes. But I like the Meiliang pans the best, I think, as far as their student grade offerings. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoy these types of reviews. Even though this is kind of a light review, because I've reviewed, you know, pretty excellent so much in the past. And I want to thank Paul Rubens for sending me this kit over to review so I can get it out to you, and then you can decide whether it's for you or not. If you have the 36 set, to be honest, I'd probably just say keep using your 36 set. But if you're running out of your 36 set and you're like, I think I'd like to try these other colors, then yeah. If you're debating between the two, the new ones, the new 36 set also comes in half pans. I prefer the palette on this is the old one, but I prefer the palette on the 36 set. That's something to consider. But, you know, these are just kind of sitting in there like that. They're not latched in like they are on that tray of the 52 set, so that's a consideration. You know, only you can decide what's best for you. Only you can prevent forest fires. Only you can pick the paints that are best. Pick the pack of pickled peppers that meets your needs. The 36 set comes with a water brush, which, I like that brush. I like the real brush that's in the Taklon brush that's in the 52 set better. And the 36 set doesn't have a fine liner or a pencil, if that's important to you. I don't know what you need. Only you know what you need. I do feel like the pans are just maybe the tiniest smidgen larger in the 36 set. I don't think it's a huge difference, but it's something to, you know, I don't know, something to mention, I guess. But there you have it. I've gabbed for much too long today. Thank you for watching. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye!